when looking at the 2021 NBA draft class, you can kind of say that it hasn't. It's been kind of disappointing. Obviously, putting everything into perspective.
Would you say it's unfair?
It is the second year of their careers, so nothing is written in stone yet. But as of right now, doing a review on this draft class, has it been underwhelming? Now, Riv, I want to start with you because this was the first draft that we did analysis on.
It was?
Yeah, we were very high on Cade, on Evan Mobley.
2020.
Now, we went in depth on this one for sure. Okay. But, Cade, Mobley, Green, we all viewed as stars.
Let's do it.
James Bucknight, didn't pan out like you thought he would.
Pain, that hurts me.
That's a Cam Reddish type miss.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
But reviewing the draft class, do you think it's been underwhelming?
I think it's been really weird. I think the top guys have definitely not given us the type of flash and flair we want. But I think a lot of the role players are starting to find their roles. So I'm gonna quickly go down this shit. Cade hasn't played much this year, so we're just kind of skip him off. I think Jalen Green, our evaluation was very certain. He's a volume scorer. He's gonna figure it out later in life. The efficiency is gonna be bad to start his career. He's gonna figure it out. I think Mobley, offensively, I think we knew it would take some time, but defensively, we kind of imagined that he's a generational defender in that aspect. Scotty Barnes, I think, is the one we kind of was like, damn, a guy who. The trajectory on a rookie being amazing his first year and then declining in year 2 is MCW Tyreek Evans and they're all bust. So it's not looking good for Scotty. I'm not going to say I'm all the way off the train, but he hasn't looked very good in year 2. But I think
MCW's nuts.
Yeah, you're being wildly rude.
James Bucknight was definitely a Cam Reddish one. Extremely fucking biased. I just loved his game in college. But I think guys like Josh Giddey finding their way, Wagner finding their way, guys like Alfred Sengun finding his way, Trey Murphy finding their way, Trey Mann, guys that were under the radar, Isaiah Jackson, Quentin Grimes, there's so many guys in this draft. Santi Aldama, just finding their way. Jeremy Robinson Earl, they're just finding their way within their teams. And I think the top guys just are figuring out. Ayo Dosunmu, I didn't even mention him. Herb Jones, oh my God, there's a lot of steals in this class. So
it's really, really deep.
I think the lottery is definitely underperforming right now, but I think in terms of the back end, the guys in the late first, second round pick, I think they've been doing their jobs of filling in the gaps and filling in rotation pieces for playoff teams. But for the lottery, guys like Kuminga, we're still waiting on him. He's figuring out a little bit, but we're still waiting on him to make that ascension. Cade hasn't played. Obviously, Jalen Green, Mobley, Scotty, offensively, Jalen Suggs. We're waiting for those guys to pop. I think when those guys pop, I think this draft will be complete because I think the role players are doing their thing right now. But, yeah, you can say definitely, I think you can kind of break it up and say the lottery guys have been underperforming, to say the least. It is year 2, but they've been a little bit down. But the role players have been really well.
There's a lot of talent in this 2021 draft. Riv, you did say it pretty well. The lottery guys have been, quote-unquote, disappointing, but even still, I find that that's a little bit strong. Franz has been spectacular this season, has vastly improved from last season. Cade Cunningham, who was supposed to be the star of this draft class, has been hurt, of course.
There's 14 lottery picks.
No doubt.
Joshua Primo's out the league.
Joshua Primo, that's an unfortunate.
James Bucknight does not play.
Okay, keep going.
Zaire Williams. Davion Mitchell.
He's a good role player for sure.
I'm gonna skip the line here in the pecking order.
Bro said go fuck yourself.
Bro said fuck you.
He said,
how about you just continue so I can?
Okay, Cade injured.
Okay.
Jalen Green, arguably the worst.
His efficiency is horrendous.
Evan Mobley.
Still really good basketball player.
Offensively, yeah. Scotty Barnes.
I don't like the disrespect. Jalen Suggs has been injured. That's really more unfortunate than anything.
Josh Giddey finally figuring it out.
For sure.
Even when he's been injured, he's been bad, though.
Who?
Suggs.
To start the season, he came out the gates relatively hot. It's
Chris
just been
Duarte.
a struggle since. Duarte was a...
Moody and Kuminga are still trying to figure it out.
For sure.
Corey Kispert.
That was a bad pick.
That's the lottery.
No, I think Corey Kispert's all right. He's
all
fine.
right.
He's fine.
That's the lottery right there.
I'm gonna.
All right, Riv. All right.
I'm gonna skip the line of the pecking order because I think when looking at this 2021 NBA draft class, of course, we all know it's still early. I'm not writing off their careers, but I put these players into 6 categories as we stand right now. Where we stand right now, I have them into 6 categories. The number 1 category is the best in the class category. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Franz Wagner, Evan Mobley, no particular order. But those to me...
You took Scotty out.
Yes. Those
the
to
guy
me...
who said that he could be Giannis, man.
No, I never said he could be Giannis.
I remember being at your crib and
I said his
hearing you
style
say
of play is
Giannis
similar.
like.
Yes, that's what I said.
You
Nobody said he could be
he's
honest.
Giannis.
You thought he was going to make a
No,
superstar.
that's what
jump in
you
here,
said.
too.
Oh, I did.
I gave you a lot of pushback for that.
You told me that he could be Giannis Antetokounmpo,
No, bro,
and then
I
I said,
said-
"You're telling me that he
I
could end
said-
up
I
being the
said
best
his-
player in the
I said
NBA."
stylistically.
You're lying.
You know, Giannis
lying.
stylistically is crazy though, right? It's still crazy.
Yeah, but Scotty in his rookie year had a lot of flashes of that, of the style of play.
Scotty's regression in shooting has just been horrendous.
Listen, we gonna get to the Raptors later because you was very high and they're looking like very mid,
They're hurt.
looking like
They're
very
hurt
mid.
They're always
But-
fucking hurt.
They weren't hurt last year.
They have less wins than the Lakers.
They were hurt last year, actually.
The first category is best in the class: Cade, Green, Mobley, Franz. Those are the 4 clear-cut best players
Where
in
is
this
Scotty?
draft class. I don't think Scotty's here. The next category is disappointing category. Scotty Barnes has been very disappointing.
He's rookie of the
Super
year last year.
disappointing.
Can you relax?
Most of his rookie year case was mostly due to how the team was performing and winning.
Why isn't Jalen Green disappointing then?
Because Jalen Green's averaging 20 a game.
Okay, and what's that
He
efficiency?
is the worst shooter from everywhere.
The efficiency isn't good, but he's also playing in a Rockets team that
play AAU
the
basketball.
coaching is not good and they have no
I
structure.
saw a comment say that.
Jalen Green has all the skill sets and to be an elite scorer in the league. Scotty's defense has regressed this season. He's not attacking the
solid.
basket.
He's not.
Defenders are sagging off him and letting him shoot, and
They
he's
are.
still bricking.
To be fair,
so he's been disappointed.
Jalen Green's efficiency has dropped from last year.
which is impressive.
Yeah,
to get worse.
I know, but I think, like I said, I attribute a lot of that to just how he.
I just want
runs
to keep
their
the same
team.
energy.
No, the team
Just
is
wanna keep
very
the same
dog
energy.
shit. I get it.
But I don't think Green has been disappointing.
I think he's been what he is. Which I understand that.
He hasn't improved as much as he
Scotty
would
Barnes
Scotty-
has been legitimately like.
I get that. I
We
get
need,
it.
we need to see
he's taking
more.
a step back. Yeah.
We
Okay.
need to see
Jalen
more.
ain't taking a step
All right.
up or down, really. But
Yeah.
Scotty.
All right.
Next one is, I think, Jonathan Kuminga. I think, I expect a little bit more in year two. He had a lot of flashes year one and still continues to have flashes, but he has been disappointing.
He's figuring it out.
Number 3 is Davion Mitchell.
I don't like this disappointing tier though. Like I feel
Davion
like there needs to
Mitchell-
be another tier,
Davion Mitchell.
like a different name for it.
Davion Mitchell was the 9th overall pick. His
What did you
ceiling
expect, though?
is a backup point guard.
Yeah,
He's an elite defender. There's no
For
doubt.
sure.
But offensively, he cannot create out of the pick and roll, and he is not a good shooter. He's not an efficient shooter at all.
His ceiling's Marcus Smart.
It's Pat
So
Bev.
it's not Marcus Smart because he can't guard bigger positions.
It's Pat Bev.
Fair. Okay. All right. That's not a bad
No, it's-
comp.
it's Pat-
That's
I
not a
do
bad
think
comp.
he's in a disappointing tier because of his efficiency and because come on, 9th pick. He's
Can
a
you change
backup
the
point
name of
guard.
this? Change the name of this.
Third tier is bust territory.
Jesus
There's
Christ.
2 players in here:
Who?
Jalen Suggs and James Bucknight. I think those are the 2 bust territory. We know Josh Primo.
Yeah.
I didn't put him in here, but we know that he's pretty much a bust right now.
Hey, wait, who you put in there? Buck Knight?
James Bucknight.
Ah, shit hurts.
Yeah. the Hornets
Yeah, I know.
have nobody. He still can't
He
play.
was
terrible
spotted in a car
franchise.
with a gun.
And Jalen Suggs, most of it has been due
Yes.
to injury. He hasn't been able to find consistency, but when he's played, he's been inefficient. He's been turnover prone. His defense is a plus, so I do like that. This is a tier I called wild cards.
So Jalen Suggs is disappointing.
No, I think he's more bust territory.
Stop.
Is he not more bust territory?
I would like. It has to be like.
Like this whole tiering game is
the bus territory was.
It has to be like a
Buck Knight
tier
and-
between bust and
Yeah, they're-
disappointing. I think
yeah.
that's for Suggs.
Because he hasn't been like Buck Knight, bro. At least
Buck Knight doesn't play.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, I
You're
want to
getting
look at
if you're getting DNPs, it's an issue.
I want to look at Suggs' stats.
Hey, respect Kuminga though. He's been on one.
He's been
lately.
playing, yeah, but it's been like a month stretch.
That's good.
I know, but
Just
this is
turned
year
20.
2. I understand.
You're older than him. He can't drink.
Okay. But we're talking about this second year. You know
Hey,
what I
man,
mean?
He
Oh
be
yeah,
gone.
it's second year, but I do think that.
That's why it's a small sample size, regardless. So
I
now we're
do,
taking a
but-
smaller sample size of a small sample
But
size.
listen to this:
shit.
if the Magic get a top 3 pick, I mean, of course, if they get the number 1 pick, they're going with Victor. Let's say they get number 2 or number 3, or they're getting a top 5 pick and not the number 1
Ooh,
pick.
what team?
The Magic.
Magic. Okay.
They will draft a lead point guard.
They will.
They will
Yes.
draft one of the Thompson twins, or they will draft Scoot Henderson. And
They will
Suggs
not
is
think
not
twice
the
about it.
starting point guard no more.
No.
So that to me is really concerning
Okay.
for his long-term future with that franchise. Number 4, wild cards. I have 2 players in here because I think that
I know Trey Murphy.
they're
in here.
they're not
Giddy's in here.
they're not the best in the class, but I look at their ceiling and their potential, and I'm intrigued.
last year.
Josh
Yeah,
Giddey is in here, and Alperen Şengün
Trey Murphy
is in here.
Sengun's been playing really well.
Trey Murphy's in another tier that I called.
He got to be in this one. He got
This
that
tier
swag.
I called impact role players, and this is where the draft class shines. Trey Murphy,
You're
Quentin
100%
Grimes, Bones Highland, Santi Aldama, Herb Jones,
Yep.
Io DeSumo.
Yep.
They're all impact
A lot
role
of good role
players.
players.
And the next tier is undrafted gems,
damn.
Jose Alvarado and Austin Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the undrafted gems of this class. So this class, like you guys, like Riv mentioned and you mentioned also briefly.
I tried to.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This class is role player heavy, and there's still question marks about what the top players in this class are going to become in terms of their stardom. But I think overall, this class has a lot of depth and a lot of valuable players. And there have been some misses for sure, but this is a solid draft
It is
class.
I wish I could
Solid.
change the name of your tiers. I like the placement of some of these players, majority of these players, I should say. But the disappointment list, I don't love the name of it. The bust list, I see where you're coming from. You made a very fair point with the Magic. If they do get a great draft pick this year, they probably are going to move Suggs to the bench, become a role player. But the disappointments list, Scotty, you have Kuminga in there. Who else you have in there? Davion. It's like, I feel like that's strong. It's like Kuminga definitely had expectations. Scotty definitely had expectations. But to call them disappointments, if anything, you could call Scotty a disappointment because he was the rookie of the year last year. He had a great rookie campaign, and for him to not at least keep that same pace is disappointing. But the rest of these guys is pretty unfair. It's like Kuminga has a bunch of guys in front of him, a bunch of veterans, that it's tough for him to really find his true spot with the Golden State
Now
Warriors.
we're seeing it, though.
No,
Now
for
they see
sure.
an
It's
opportunity.
absolutely.
For sure.
For sure.
Kuminga's
You wanna see
averaging
Moody
more
do that
minutes
too.
this year. He's averaging less points and is less rebounds and is not.
What are the
He's-
minutes?
He looks better than he did last year. He looks more comfortable.
In spurts,
Would you like me to?
And then
tell you?
Jalen Green not be. If you're gonna
Would you
have these
disagree?
guys in there, then Jalen Green, I
Jalen
feel
Green's
like.
not
more
disappointing,
comfortable.
I mean,
for
the
sure.
efficiency is dog shit, and it's
Bro.
only there because he gets volume. You like to mention to me how certain players have these certain stats because of their usage rates. He's one of those players that's benefiting from that.
The Raptors would love to have Jalen Green right now and his shot creation ability.
I mean, sure.
Like, I think they'd love to have him. Kuminga.
they're a bad team right now.
I think, for one, there are some parts of the games that has improved, but overall he's been disappointing. You expected a bigger leap. You expected a bigger leap. Like, I expect at least like 10 a game. You know, I don't think that's too much to ask for from the
not.
7th overall pick.
It's not. But the Warriors is such a unique case.
It
Where
is a unique case.
Everything is just so system heavy and so like you have to be
Very
able
well
to work
said,
with
Joel.
everyone else.
Yes,
that,
but
like it's very
we-
hard to look at one individual player and
But-
expect
but
him
I
to
think it's
improve
also-
in points and rebounds and like just regular stats.
I think it's also looking at the expectation of Kuminga, what it was before the draft, what it was before this season. Before the draft, Kuminga, coming into the draft, was a top 5 potential prospect, right?
It was a project too.
He
though.
he was a player that we looked at and said he could be, you know, one of the top forwards in the game.
Told you.
And
What?
He got top
as a
four
rookie,
potential.
he flashed, and this year he's playing well, but it's more so like kind of in like a roller's role.
Yep.
And his role long term, I guess where I'm projecting it now, is less so of a shot creating forward and more so of a dependent player that rolls and is like
I get what you're saying.
and is a cutter and it isn't really somebody who can be like a lead player on a team. So he's like a great role player, but for the 7th pick, that's disappointing.